Welcome back, everybody, to Unstabled. This is the 20th episode. We're back. We're happy. We've had a football game, and the regular season's right around the corner. We're really excited. With me is Justin from last week. I thought it was a great episode. I think he did a phenomenal job, and he accepted the third chair for Unstable. So, how you doing, man?
Man, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Ready for another week of Colts news, Colts football coming up. Man, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, likewise. So we've got a great show, a fun show planned out for you guys. Since the last episode, we've gone up 6 or 7 subscriptions, so we're really happy about that. We appreciate all the support as always, and we want to keep growing. Keep liking, sharing, and we really want to hear from you. Make sure you comment, disagree, agree with us, whatever you're feeling, put it in there. We'd love to put it on the next episode. Talk to us. We want to hear from you. Alex will be joining us at some point. He's a busy guy. He was sick last week, but he'll be jumping in here pretty soon. But got some stuff to talk about. There's a Colts fan that's kind of gone viral that I want to give a shout out to. We're going to show his video. I can't remember. I don't know if you know his name.
I don't. I just know that the lyrics have been stuck in my head ever since I saw the video.
I'll probably know what we're already talking about. I'm going to play it here in
If you
a
know
second.
the words, sing along, everybody.
Yeah, sing along with it. We obviously had a game against Denver, preseason game. We're going to talk about that. We're recording this on a Wednesday. It'll drop on a Friday. So we do have one joint practice to talk about that happened today. Of course, for the Arizona game, we'll talk about that upcoming. I want to throw in a little fantasy segment because Justin, like fantasy guru, he's all over that stuff. So we'll give him some spots on each show to talk about fantasy for you guys and whatever else we come up with. So I really want to show the video. It might be the hype video that we play. I don't know if copyrights, if we can actually do it or not, but I don't know. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it.
Oh, yeah.
Stage. Let's just roll, man.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts!
Oh man, that kills me every time the nay at the end.
Oh, the nay is legendary. This guy's a legend, man.
And I am full steam ahead. You could just change out the teams. Beat the Cardinals. Let's show them who the real team is. I'm full steam ahead, baby.
This dude is about to go viral.
Oh, for sure. Of course, the internet can be a really fugly place, and there are people talking their shit about him, and some people defending. A lot of people are defending him, especially Colts fans. So I'm proud of the shoe. You guys got this dude's back, and I'm proud of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody shows their love of the team in a different way. We do this. We talk about it. There's no way in hell you're going to catch me singing a song, recording it, and posting it for the internet. I would never do.
Same here. My hats off to that guy.
For sure. So yeah, props to that dude. The next thing we need is like Anthony Richardson rap over it.
Oh yeah. If you can get Richardson on that, oh god.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now
or a little mashup, take some of the samples from it.
Oh yeah. They're saying that this guy should be played at like the beginning of the fourth quarter or whoever.
Oh, the whole stadium would be raging if that's the case. I would be.
That dude's a legend, man. I had never heard of him until I saw you sent it to me. I'm like, what is this? And I kind of was like, and then I was like, I watched it a couple more times. I'm like, you know what? For the shoe, we be blue. Go Colts. Fuck yeah, man.
And he had the heart. The blue. He had everything going.
Oh yeah, he had all the talking points.
Oh yeah, he planned out in his head very thoroughly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, man, so another little piece that came out of Colts I guess, nation or whatever. Bjorn Werner made it back into the news. And no, he's not playing again. His career did not go well for the Colts, but
Oh no.
he's kept busy. And he is, what is it, ambassador to the Colts internationally, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the official title is international ambassador for Germany and Austria.
Germany and Austria, right on. And apparently he's like co-owner or something of a team over there in the European Football League. I can't.
Yeah, the European Football League, the Berlin Thunder.
Berlin Thunder. Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty good. You got a former NFL player, even though it's kind of a bust. I mean, but still drafted, played in the league, which is a big deal. A lot of people want to talk, a lot of stuff, but I mean, yeah, the dude was a bust, but he was years at least. I mean, the man made the league. That's more than most people can say.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when you start to multiply out how many high schools, how many colleges, how many players play, and then however like actual people make that 53 man roster. Not a lot of people. There's a lot of colleges and a lot of football players, and it is not easy to make it. So I don't hate on him. It just didn't work out. But I'm glad to see he's still with the organization, still trying to do stuff for the Colts. So, and
sure.
the Colts were. I saw an article too. They were voted the least popular team in the world. So it's like maybe he can help out a little bit with that.
Maybe that's because Colts fans aren't chanting after one preseason win, going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we're trying to temper expectations,
And I'm looking at you, Jacksonville and Tennessee and Houston. You won the preseason Super Bowl. Congratulations.
Oh man, yeah. Around here in Houston, Texans fans are just getting irate with it.
I mean, they have a reason to be excited. They won the division. They have a great young quarterback also. So, there's reason for excitement. I don't hate them for being excited, but it's preseason. Let's just let's bring it down a tad. So we had Denver last week, and I think it was kind of a mixed bag depending on how you look at it. It wasn't entirely productive offensively, at least at the beginning of it. I mean, obviously 34-30. It became an offensive game, but it started off with the starters as a very defensive battle. Anthony Richardson, again, mixed bag, and a lot of people are crapping on him. 2 for 4, 25 yards, 1 first down. Looked a little anemic, lethargic. What did you see from it, man?
So he had a little slow start. I mean, you got to be fair in saying that. But then again, look how much time he missed and everything like that. So I'm not too worried about it. It's preseason, right? And you're finally getting live looks at real players. It's not like you're going against your same guys every day. So I'm not too scared about it because why would you want to go 100% in the preseason and mess around and tear up a knee, and then now you're done for the regular season? I mean, you got players out there that are still wearing the Guardian caps and stuff in preseason. I think Jonathan Taylor was one of them. So same thing. They're catching a little crap for it or whatever like that. I don't care, man. Protect yourself. Don't go kill yourself out there if you've already got the job. It's not like he's competing. It's AR's job. It's JT's job, so on and so on, right?
Yeah.
Don't go out there and kill yourself. You're not a 3rd string, 4th string undrafted guy.
And aesthetically, it looks goofy. Like I'll give credit. It looks like you're wearing a swimming cap over your helmet. It looks a little goofy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, stay healthy. And if this can avoid you missing time because of a concussion, wear it. I don't care. When they first started wearing those leather caps back in the day, they said they looked goofy. When they put on these big ass helmets with the bar in the front, they look goofy. They shouldn't have the internet to talk shit about it.
Yeah.
Now, what is this condom thing he's wearing on his head? Well, they announced.
No, I don't think they're going to be able to wear that in the regular season. I think this is just allowed for the preseason, right?
I thought they allowed it for the games. I could be mistaken, but I think it's allowed.
I wonder how those are going to become an issue if players start grabbing at them and stuff like that.
Oh, who knows, man?
They're
going to have to make more rules on top of other rules.
Yeah, I mean, do you treat it like a face mask call? I mean, since you're grabbing at the helmet, or I don't. There's something. I'll have to look into that and see if they're going to use that in the regular season. But yeah, I think they look a little goofy. But hey, I get it. I get it if you want to protect yourself.
In all honesty, of all the people on the Colts roster, I would have been much happier if Richardson was one of the ones wearing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fortunately, what I saw from Richardson was some growth. And by that, I mean, there was kind of a blown play. He had to get out of the pocket. There was nothing downfield. And he ran for 1 yard and went out of bounds. There was a guy in his face. He didn't try to fight for the extra yard or two. He didn't think he could lower his shoulder and boom over him. Got out of bounds, avoided the hit. That's what we've been wanting to see. There was another play that got blown up. They brought like a zero blitz. There was a free runner coming at him. He had to throw the ball before he wanted to. He threw it in the dirt where no one could catch it and moved on to the next play. He didn't try to force it, didn't cause a pick. There was a play, I think, to Granson. Everyone was like, "Oh, he threw it right to the defender." Well, Granson, if you look at the film, Granson didn't run the right route.
Right.
So that's not really on him. He threw it to where Granson should have been. Oh, there goes Alex.
Well, and that's where the casual fan doesn't see that unless they actually go back and watch the tape. Because if you go back and watch the tape, then you actually can see where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
So you gotta temper expectation, and you gotta be very flexible and forgive a little bit. I mean, like we talked about, it's preseason. Everybody, calm down.
For sure.
Are we overreacting to the preseason?
We are talking about Denver. We're talking about growth from Anthony Richardson. We're talking about everybody picking apart his almost interception when really it was just a wrong route by Granson, so it really isn't on him. Talked about him getting out of bounds, running out of bounds instead of taking the hit, which is all
I like that
growth that we wanted to see from him. So that's kind of where we were.
What's up, Justin? I'm Alex, by the way.
Alex, Justin, Alex. Everybody out there, Justin, Alex. Okay, I'm feeling intolerant. How you doing, man?
Good, I'm good. I was, if you want me to overreact to the preseason, I'll say the offense looked dead. It wasn't really anything with Richardson, but obviously it's preseason. They weren't opening up the playbook for Denver week 1 of the preseason.
No, very vanilla.
No.
Stadium looks awesome though. The new end zones look sick. I love the new end zones.
For sure. And we're also, if there's a petition out there, we showed the video of that guy singing the Colts song for the shoot.
Oh, I love that guy.
We want to, if there's a petition out there, we want to sign it. This video needs to play like before they bang the whatever.
Yep.
Get that guy to a game, get him singing it live. The fans will go crazy. The fans will sing every word of that song, I guarantee you.
And get Anthony Richardson to do a rap remix.
Oh, yeah.
These are the things that need to happen for the Colts.
I love that guy. I know he gets hate. I don't get it. He just seems like a good time guy, just an awesome dude. I love it. I don't care what anyone else says.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
First, I was
Let the dude do what he wants. Heck yeah. He's killing it. Because we talked about we're not doing that.
I've been watching that. I'm sure you have too, Justin. I've been watching that since last year or like a couple years ago when he started doing them. They've been electric every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Irsay, get this man out to the stadium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Sing the same song, change the team name. Gotta do the name.
Yeah.
Jim's on Twitter too. Jim knows. Jim has to know. They have to be tagging him.
He's probably been tagged thousands of times on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had never heard of him until a few days ago, and it's blown up.
Yeah.
Like that's the next viral thing since like the hot wall, at least for the Colts. Yeah, we were talking about Denver. We already kind of covered Bjorn Werner. Got himself back in Colts news. But yeah, we're kind of, I guess, going overreactions with the offense. Like you said, looked
yeah,
not impressive. It turned out to be a fun game. When the backup and the backups came in. Denver, I think Bo Nix looked good. It was against backups. I think Latu looked phenomenal. They're going to look at a stat line and say, oh well, he played 8 snaps, but he affected 4 of the 8 snaps. If he's out there affecting 50% of the plays, I'm golden, dude. And he was the whole reason, like the catalyst that Kenny Moore interception happened in the first place.
Yeah.
He was in the backfield. He got after the quarterback. Zaire Franklin broke up the tip pass and Moore cleaned it up. So that's the kind of teamwork that you want to see. And
Brian Baldinger was giving him a lot of love. I saw on his Twitter that he said he pressured, was it 6 out of 9 or whatever like that? Mm-hmm. And he was singing his praises. And for a player like Brian Baldinger to say you're doing pretty good, man, that's saying something. You know?
He lives in the film room. He literally
yeah.
lives there. He loves it.
Yeah, him and his broken pinky and everything.
And if you notice, the first play that Latu came out in, they actually double teamed him. So that's some respect, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're doing that in the
teams have taken
preseason, you
notice.
know that they're gonna be looking at him in the regular season. I mean, he's the first defensive player off the board for a reason.
Yeah.
Not just because we took him, but because other teams were trying to get him as well.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
they know who he is.
So I kind of wanted to go around the table and ask this. I'm glad Alex joined in when he did, because I wanted to get all of your input. It doesn't necessarily have to just be from the Denver game, but I kind of want to hear your 3 players that are, I guess, their stocks are rising. You know, if they're on the roster bubble that solidified their case, or some that might have kind of, you know, lowered their proverbial guillotine.
I guess I'll start off. So somebody I think that's not going to make the team is Goodson. I don't think he's going to make the team. I think that RB3 spot is going to go elsewhere. I mean, I think Trey Sermon's locking down RB2, in my opinion. He's doing all the right things. They're singing his praises in camp. So as far as roster bubble goes, that's all. That's pretty much who I got there. Our wide receiver room's looking pretty good. I mean, Anthony Gould looks like he's going to be a good special teamer. He looked amazing with that new kickoff system, and I think a player like him, he is going to do a lot for us and give us some good field position in the season, which should lead to a lot more points.
For sure. I guess I guess 3 players that are kind of on the rise for you. I mean, you said Gould. Is there a couple others that kind of caught your eye?
On the rise, yeah. You know, even after Blackman, you know, it's supposed to be his last year. I think Blackman's going to be here for the long haul. He looked really, really good in that game. And, you know, it's not overreaction, I don't think, because he's just a good player and everybody knows it. I think Blackman's stock, it went way up after that game.
Sure.
But Granson did a lot for himself as well. He got a lot of targets, did a lot with it. You know, even though he ran the wrong route for AR, I mean, didn't really help his QB out, but he looked good throughout the preseason game that I saw. But so I would go with those 3, if anything.
Sure.
I'll start. This one is I think it's a little bit more of a stock up. We didn't expect anything from him. It's Joe Flacco. I thought he looked pretty good. I thought his arm looked pretty good. I mean, he still had some zip on that thing. I only saw like I think 1 or 2 of his drives. Did he play 2 or was it just 1? Because I watched the first half and then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to fuck around with this.
He might have played 2. I know he took over it after the Kenny Moore interception. I can't remember if he played another series after.
Yeah, I think it was just the 1 drive.
Probably.
I want to say because even if he did, he was probably just handing the ball off.
Yeah, at his age, you want to kind of save him a little bit. So I don't blame Shane Steichen for that. I like that.
I liked what we saw. It was at least like comforting knowing there's a guy with at least some zip behind the ball. Like it's not a Matt Ryan situation, which was I think a lot of Colts fans were afraid of because you know when you're at Joe Flacco's age, that drop off it's off a cliff. Even though he played good last year, we were kind of like, oh, you know, who knows with this guy what we're going to get from him. But I'm glad to see that, you know, we're getting at least a good arm. I don't know about his decision making and, you know, real playing time, but at least we got a good arm. You mentioned, I think you said Sermon, right? I love Trey Sermon. I'd see his stock going up. I was really excited to, you know, I loved him last year. I loved him in Philly. Oh, I don't know why I cut out for a second. But I think he could make a really good impact with us. I actually didn't even prepare a list. Dallas Flowers was my stock down guy. I'll say that he struggled on Sunday. He definitely struggled. Yeah. Come back to me for my third one.
I'm going to definitely say on the rise was I think it's Micah Abraham. I think he had a phenomenal game when he came in at corner. He was taken in the 6th round. I think going into that game, he might have been on the roster bubble, and he might have just made his case for the main roster. I really liked what I can never say his name. I just call him Adi Adi. I have no idea how to say it, but he looked really good in his time. I think his run defense needs to shore up a little bit, but he looked really good getting after the quarterback. I can't even say Kenny Moore just because I just want to throw him out there. He's not on the rise. He's gonna start, but man, he laid the boom on that one hit. Came up with the interception. He looked phenomenal in the game, midseason form.
Textbook tip drill.
Textbook tip. That was awesome. I had a third. Now I can't think of it. I know on my stocks going down, I was going to say Dallas Flowers. I was going to give him a little benefit of the doubt just because he's coming back from a big injury too. I'm going to say Nick Cross, and that's just kind of a cross from training camp and the game. That still pisses me off about Josh Downs. And the biggest stock down for me is got to be Jelani Woods. And it pains me to say it. It kills me to say it.
It's your boy.
It was my boy, man, and he does not look good in camp. I don't even remember seeing him in the game. I think he played late in the game.
Jelani had 1 reception for 17 yards.
Yeah, I think that came late.
My third guy was going to be Big Mo. He had a good day. He had a couple of big catches, I think. Or one
as soon
big
as
catch.
I said Jelani, I was like, yeah, it was going to be Mo. Because it was a good pass from Anthony Richardson. It was put right where it needed to be, and Mo was able to turn it upfield, gain some big yards. So yeah, he was my stock up guy. I had him because if they cut him, it's $7 million in roster or in salary cap. So I really thought he was going to be that fifth man, odd man out, and really it's looking like again he'll probably be the tight end one, and Jelani looks to be the man out and that's crazy to me. I was on the Jelani train, the hype train. I wouldn't shut up about him. His first year, all last year, I was like, man, I hope he comes back. He never did. I've been on the Jelani train, and it pains me to say that he might not make it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not the only one. There's a lot of Colts fans that really like Jelani Woods, and I can see why. Totally can see why. But I mean, heck, last year they carried 4 tight ends. I don't see why they wouldn't do it again. They spread the ball out pretty evenly. And I get it, that was Gardner Minshew, right? AR seems to have a little connection with Granson, but heck, we've got 4 really good tight ends. I don't see why we shouldn't just carry all 4 of them. I mean, we're very lucky.
Well, that's the thing. You've got Granson, Mallory, Ogletree, and Mo Alley-Cox, and Jelani Woods. I don't know if they're going to carry 5.
I think Ogletree might be the odd man out on that one. Because Mallory's back, and they got some quality draft stock in Mallory. Same thing with Jelani Woods, and then Mo's got that money, So, I think Ogletree might be odd man out. Maybe practice squad. I don't know if he's eligible or not, but wouldn't hurt.
Somebody might grab him too.
My stupid football guy take is just carry the biggest guys. Just have the biggest people. Like carry 4 tight ends. That really, I don't think that really hurts you. You have bigger wide receivers, meaning more options, because they're essentially a wide receiver. You have bigger options. I don't understand why teams wouldn't carry, at least 4, unless you have really shitty tight ends, of course. But
yeah, I mean, those good red zone targets right there, you want those. They're valuable, especially if they're athletic like ours are. Like I said, we're very lucky. We got some good tight ends. I mean, they're not like Travis Kelce's or Dalton Kincaid's or Sam Laporta's, but quality tight ends.
That's all you want. You want a solid tight end with a good quarterback. That's all you really need.
Yeah, we're good. That bootleg, I mean, with AR's mobility, the bootleg coming out in the red zone and dumping it off to a tall monster like Mo Alley or an athletic freak like Woods or Mallory or Granson, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, it's almost unstoppable if you could do it right.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to do it right.
Yeah. Well, and AR's gonna demand that respect on the goal line. One, he's huge. I mean, the guy looks amazing this year. He's shredded, and he's super athletic. So you have to give him that respect at the goal line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And speaking of Anthony Richardson, I'm in this AFC South trash talking page, and all of them. Oh, I told you your quarterback was shit. And I'm like, off of 1 preseason game, coming back from surgery. Like,
I'm pretty sure Titans fans last year were saying, "Oh, no, you can't judge it based off the preseason with Will Levis's performance." I'm pretty sure they were saying stuff like that, and now they're like, "Oh, he Two of his drives resulted in touchdowns. He's the GOAT now. Like, come on. Shut up.
Yeah, let's calm down.
Obviously, they were just like, yeah, just go out there, get a few snaps with JT. I mean, are they going to shit on JT for running the ball twice? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, it's preseason. There's no reason to have him go in there and taking hits he doesn't need to take.
Mhm.
Yes,
We know what
exactly.
JT's capable of. I just want to
Yeah,
see
I mean, he's
regular
still a
season
top
these
5
two.
running back.
For sure. I want to see them together in the regular season, so let's not fuck it up in the preseason. That's what I want to see. So today is Wednesday when we're recording, so we've had a joint practice with the Cardinals for the upcoming game on Saturday. I haven't heard anything negative. There's no fights, which I'm surprised. Pittman got into a couple training camp fights. I didn't hear any fights. I heard kind of a mixed bag. What did you guys hear about the practice with the Cardinals?
I know Marvin Harrison was there. Saw him give a little football to a little girl, which was adorable. Love to see Marvin back. And especially, obviously, the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. there too. So pretty cool.
The prodigal son.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I wish we would have traded up to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I like AD, but I mean, Lil Marv, he's a legacy. Come on.
They also
Especially
did
if you can
Marvin
get him out there
Harrison.
wearing 88. Oh man.
They did him dirty in Madden too. Have you seen his Madden face? I mean, they made him look pretty bad. He I don't think it looks all that much like him. His features might be a little I think they added a little extra to his facial features just to say that. It's pretty funny.
Like embellish a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course,
Poor
one of
guy.
the top Google searches is that. Let me see here.
Oh, it is?
It was one of the top. Oh, come on, man. Hold on, let me pull it up here and get it on a bigger picture so I can share the screen.
And what's funny is there's no denying, like the guy's a splitting image of his father.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't.
So you almost could have taken an old
it's gonna go
school
to
Marvin
YouTube.
Harrison image stock file from Madden and put it on him and been good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't blow it up, but let me. God, they did him wrong. You can kind of see it when I present it. You can kind of see it in the. I can't blow it up because it's like a YouTube video. Man, they did him wrong.
Poor guy.
It's terrible, dude. Yeah,
79 overall too.
I don't think it's like that. It's not like it just doesn't look like him whatsoever. They just embellished a little too much. It was like, guys, just can you like hit the sliders like 1 or 2 less? That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Take it easy on the kid, right?
It's a rookie. Maybe they were mad he gave, the NFLPA shit or something about his licensing, and that's what they wanted to do.
Maybe.
I heard in the joint practice today, the corners, DBs for Arizona kind of had our receivers on lock, but Richardson did hit Pittman for a couple of touchdowns deep, so that's nice to hear. And they're probably none of them are probably going to play in the preseason game coming up. So
yeah, I think Steichen did put out that Richardson and JT are not going to play, and if he's going to sit them guys, I'm pretty sure he's going to sit Buckner again. And I would look to see a lot of the starters, like the locked in starters, just go ahead and sit this game. There's no reason to put them out there, especially if you've seen what you need to see from some of them. There's no reason to take that risk.
And you're seeing them against the Cardinals already in these practices, so there's really no need to throw them out there on the field.
And honestly, I think you see more in the joint practices because there's not a lot of camera coverage. It's not national TV because in the games you're not wanting to show the other teams what you're going to do in the season, right? You don't want to show your cards. But in the joint practices, you're like, you've got NFL Network there and stuff like that, but it's not broadcast like a game, right? So you can be more relaxed with your playbook, more open with your playbook. So I think the joint practice is helping a lot, and they're probably seeing a lot more with that than they probably even did with Denver.
For sure.
They did go on like a 6-play drive. Like Richardson just marched them down the field in 6 plays to score a touchdown, and he threw it to Pittman. That was the one thing I did see. So that's pretty encouraging.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
That's good.
There's one thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm really excited. I got tickets to the Colts game here in Houston today. I'm super stoked. Kind of a shout out to Curtis. He wanted to send us to the game, so he put out for that. So thank you, Curtis, over at CPN, Curtis Podcast Network. He's also on that Texas Team podcast. Yeah, he's sending me to the game, so I'm super stoked. We'll be out there. It's my first one since the Matt Ryan season where they tied the Texans, that debacle of a game. So hopefully I'm not like a bad luck charm and we tie again.
Hey, well, I'll be looking for you, man. We'll meet up. We'll do some tailgating, and
yeah.
maybe we can get some insight on some other local Colts fans, and maybe even talk to some of these Super Bowl bound Texans fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if any Colts fans are out there tailgating this one, let us know. We can hit it up.
Yeah,
Richardson is also
5
on the fantasy football rankings, which I don't know if you saw that, Justin. They have him at 5 on quarterback rankings, which makes sense. Dual threat quarterbacks, of course. People were upset about that. But, if you know fantasy, a dual threat quarterback is just more valuable than a guy who doesn't run.
And also, plus, look at all his weapons.
Yep.
I mean, all they've done is give him more weapons. So why would he lose value? He would only gain.
Yeah.
And I will say the leagues, like I've gotten into some, the freebie leagues, just kind of jump in and draft. No one's drafting Trevor Lawrence.
The shade and the hate. I wouldn't say, maybe hate's a strong word, but people are definitely undervaluing him. Poor kid, because he's just so super talented, but God, the Jaguars just are jaguaring.
Yes, them too over at Third and Teal. Oh, they're Super Bowl down, baby. They had a few training camp videos, and they're going to the Super Bowl. They're able to hit that bag and they're punch their ticket, baby.
Haven't they been
I mean,
going?
I do like the
years?
players they have. I have to admit that.
They've got some good players. They got some good players on the defensive front. It's their receivers, man, that I'm just maybe they're what's the name? Brian Thomas, maybe but they don't really strike the fear of God in me.
No. I mean, Kirk was overpaid. He was an average talent coming out of Texas A&M, when the Cardinals drafted him, but he didn't deserve all that money. But then again, the Jaguars have to overpay to get those free agents, especially in the situation they were in. I mean, after being the worst team in the league, you had to. Yeah, there's no way around it. You've got to fork over the money to get any kind of free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look for them to maybe either restructure that contract or try and find a way out from Kirk. That way you can get a true alpha. I mean, I'm with you. I like Brian Thomas Jr. He did amazing things for LSU. But I just don't think that receiving core over there is going to demand too much respect. I would look for a large workload for Travis Etienne this year. He's one of my favorites in fantasy this year.
He's probably their most threatening, receiving or worst receiving threat, like our scariest receiving threat.
He's an amazing dual threat running back. You're right. Yeah.
He's kind of like their, Eckler when he was with the Chargers kind of threat.
Oh, yeah.
Except the Chargers also had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams when they were healthy.
Sure.
So
that was always Mike Williams' thing, right? If he's healthy.
Yeah. If he's healthy. I think that's a good.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch out for Etienne. But
I think it's a good segment into that fantasy stuff, man. I like to play, and you're the kingmaker.
Yeah, man. For all of our people out there playing redraft this year, it's scouting and draft season. We got a lot of drafts starting up the next couple of weeks. Now that we only have 3 preseason games, I know most drafts usually started about preseason week 4. That way you can kind of see who's going to make it, who's not. The teams make their cuts and filter out the people, so you got a lot less of a pool of players to go from. But I got some favorites that I think this year will be great to go after. Right. So AFC South, I'll go ahead and start. CJ Stroud is one of my favorite picks. I know it seems like more of a chalk pick. Say, hey, Justin, that's kind of obvious, right? But CJ Stroud, all they've done is give the man weapons. Okay. This kid is special. I loved him coming out of college. I was never on the Bryce Young hype train. I was preaching CJ Stroud the whole way. I was hoping we could have done something in Indianapolis to get CJ Stroud. But Anthony Richardson, I'm very happy with that as well. So his weapons, the reason why I like Stroud, I mean, they brought in Stephon Diggs. Okay. No matter my feelings toward the player individually, he's a monster. Right, he's elite. Okay, Nico, he's returning. Got that established relationship with him. Tank Dell returning. Tank Dell had an amazing rookie campaign. Dalton Schultz, still one of the best underrated tight ends in the league. I mean, look what he did with Dallas, and he just carried it right over into Houston. And they brought in Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon, yeah, he's a little up there in age, but the reason why I think Joe Mixon is going to help CJ Stroud is because Joe Mixon is going to stay fresh. Okay, Joe Mixon is not going to be asked to carry the ball, 40 times a game, things like that, right? That's not going to happen. That's not what you need him for. You've got a future elite passer like CJ Stroud. You've got all the weapons around him. So why would you want to run the ball that much if you don't have to, right? You've got that quarterback. Let's use that quarterback. So what that's going to do is that's going to open up lanes for Joe Mixon, right? So as far as my second quarterback that I like Joe Burrow. Okay, now hear me out. Okay, so yes, T. Higgins, there's a lot of drama with his contract and everything like that, wanting to be traded. So he's there, right? And when T. Higgins is there, he's going to perform for you. I feel like it's obvious, Jamar Chase, right? I don't need to say anything about Jamar Chase. We all know what he is, right? Jermaine Burton, I think that's the biggest addition that they could have for Joe Burrow because he has really stepped up in his opportunities in this preseason. He didn't have great draft capital. He was good in college, right? And now he's showing that he can perform on the big stage in the league. So you're not going to have to worry about that. Joe Burrow's got 3 great weapons he can sling to, right? Running back, they don't really have much as far as running back. I like Chase Brown, but I don't think that he's going to demand much respect. So they have to use that passing attack to get ahead. Kirk Cousins is my buy low, right? Man, what can I say? The Falcons have done everything. They've drafted elites in every position, right? Bijan at running back, great dual threat running back, right? Obviously, unless you don't have a top 3 pick in your league, you're not getting Bijan, right? Yeah. Drake London. Kirk Cousins only helps Drake London. Kyle Pitts, if Kyle Pitts can't get it done with Kirk Cousins in this offense, then just wash your hands of Kyle Pitts. I know every year we want to draft. This year, Kyle Pitts. If Kirk Cousins can't get it done for Kyle Pitts, you're in trouble with Kyle Pitts. But Kirk Cousins, I believe, is the one you want to buy in that offense because same thing with CJ Stroud. If you've got all those weapons out there, you want the person distributing the ball. If you can't get your hands on one of those players, you want the person distributing the ball because you're going to get those points regardless. Jordan Love is another quarterback that I really like. Jordan Love, same exact situation, loaded with talent around him. I mean, in my eyes, they've got 3 wide receiver 1s and a super upside wide receiver 2. So Jordan Love is going to have a phenomenal year. I think he's going to do great. So go try and get those guys as quarterbacks if you can. You can probably look for Jordan Love is going to go, if you're super flex, obviously round 1, right? 1 quarterback leagues are not so strenuous on the quarterback early. So you probably could get a guy like Kirk Cousins. If you can't get one of those top quarterbacks like a Stroud, Richardson, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, I would try and go get Kirk Cousins maybe in the 10th round. Those older quarterbacks tend to drop. But if you have an early draft, get Cousins before the hype is real. Okay, that hype will drive his price up, and you'll be looking at people will be taking him up in like the 7th, 8th round. But right now, you can probably get him in the 10th round of your redraft leagues. Running backs. All right, we already talked about Travis Etienne. I'm huge on Travis Etienne this year because the Jaguars just don't have any other options that are as versatile as Travis Etienne. Okay, I mean Evan Ingram is a decent tight end. He's a good super late tight end guy. He's very forgotten, but he produced a lot in the past for Trevor Lawrence. But Travis Travis Etienne just brings a different dynamic to that offense where you can line him up in the slot and backfield. I mean, he does everything for that team. So go get him, draft him, set him, and forget him. Just week to week, unless he gets hurt, week to week, start him. Don't think about it. Derrick Henry. So, yes, he's older, right? We get it. Every year we say, oh, I'm not drafting Derrick Henry. But then again, he keeps coming back, and he keeps showing why we should have drafted Derrick Henry.
Just don't start him. Just don't start him week 1. He's always been shit week 1.
Yeah, look at the analytics. They say, okay, don't start in week 1. The Ravens, though, look what the Ravens do with their running backs, right? So if there was a team to go to, this is the one that Derrick Henry was to go to. And same thing with Lamar Jackson. Now Lamar Jackson won't have to worry about punching it in for the red zone anymore. You know, he's had smaller guys in the past. Now you've got a monster back there. So look for Derrick Henry to score a lot of red zone touchdowns this year. Mark my words on that. Quote me, whatever you want to do. So there's a strategy called zero RB, right? So what that means is you're not going to go after an elite running backs. You're going to go wide receiver heavy early, right? So if you're going to utilize that strategy, I'm going Zamir White. I think Zamir White is going to be a steal for you. Right now, he has no competition behind him, right? The only problem that you might see is the Raiders are going to be trailing a lot, right? But I like what Antonio Pierce, the new head coach, did with Zamir White down the stretch. I think that they built a lot of trust there, and I think they're going to keep that momentum going into this season. So if you can't get one of those elite running backs, I would look for one of your guys to be Zamir White in a zero RB format. Same thing with, like I mentioned previously, Chase Brown. Chase Brown's not like a stellar guy. He's definitely a late round steal that you can look for some decent points in. So Chase Brown is going to get a lot of opportunity because he's just got no other competition there. And they're really, really singing his praises in camp. And he did well for him at the end of last year as well. Receivers. All right. So here's a guy that last year we had huge expectations for, but because his quarterback got injured on like the third play of the season, Garrett Wilson, right? I think Garrett Wilson with his first elite quarterback, former MVP, former Super Bowl champion, Aaron Rodgers, I think Garrett Wilson is going to be a top wide receiver in all formats, PPR, standard, whatever. I think Garrett Wilson is somebody that you need to target early, and pending any injuries, you know, hopefully Aaron Rodgers can finish his career strong. Garrett Wilson's going to win a lot of leagues this year.
Let's finish a game first, and then we'll.
Okay, fair enough.
Drive. Let's finish a drive.
A drive, yes. Oh gosh, poor Aaron Rodgers, man. Everybody was so excited for him last year. He was going in rookie draft so high because the Jets had some weapons, right? And they were like, "Oh, this is going to be great. The Jets are it." So here we are again, 365 days later. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. But I'm on the Garrett Wilson hype train for this year if everybody stays healthy. So another receiver that you can get late in your drafts that's not going to cost you very much, who is only I can't say he really has a lot of competition because he's a different type of receiver, and that's DeAndre Hopkins, right? So DeAndre Hopkins is going to be cheap for you. You're going to get him late. He's older, right? But DeAndre Hopkins still has that juice, right? Will Levis is looking like he's coming into his own. Let's calm down, Titans fans. Calm down. I'm not saying he's the next coming of freaking Peyton Manning, okay? But I think Will Levis is going to be serviceable for guys like DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. But DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the alpha in that offense, all right? They don't have much as far as anything else at any other position. They're going to be trailing games. That's just a fact of life. Titans fans, get ready for it. You're going to be losing a lot of games this year. Just make peace with it. Do whatever you got to do. Drink alcohol, whatever you got to do. But go ahead and get DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to get a lot of targets and a lot of receptions. Another guy that I really like, going back to the AFC South, is Nico Collins. Look, I understand they brought Stephon Diggs in, right? Stephon Diggs is going to be a different type. He's going to be more of an alpha outside, right? But Nico has that relationship with CJ Stroud. You can't discount that in this league. You can't. We look at how many quarterback wide receiver duos that have succeeded when they brought in other people just because they had a relationship, right? So Nico Collins is still going to be that guy, right? And you don't have to get him early anymore. Before they brought in Diggs, Nico was going to go in like the second, third round of redrafts, right? Now you can get Nico, I would say fairly cheap. You can get Nico at around the fourth, fifth round because people are going to be going after Diggs first, right? But I think Nico is going to be the guy here. I would go after him as far as a mid early type of wide receiver. He should be a good wide receiver 2 for you on your team.
Look at, sorry, not to interrupt, but look at
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at how like the Pats used Wes Welker when they brought in Randy Moss. Like I've been going over some of the old games like that, the Giants Super Bowl, and then the Week 17 before that. I've been doing game recaps on YouTube, and they use Wes Welker a ton. And you're sitting there, you're like, why don't you just throw it to Randy Moss every play? Because it doesn't fucking matter. He's going to go get it no matter how many people are there. But they still used Wes Welker in a great way. So Nico Collins, I 100% agree with you. Like, don't discount it. He's still going to be there. Diggs is not going to have, he's not going to just take over the team. He won't.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, so the Texans, you should be fine with Nico Collins. Don't worry about that. So your tight ends, right? So you have tight end premium leagues. Most leagues are about 1.75 on your tight end scoring nowadays. As before it was 1.5, and then before it's just normal start one tight end, 1 point, right? Tight end premium, that's getting very popular here. So the Bills, Dalton Kincaid. Okay, so Bill Scout, a Bill Scout has confirmed that the offense should go through Dalton Kincaid moving forward. Okay, look for Dalton Kincaid to be hyper targeted. He should be going as one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends in redraft this year. Okay, I wouldn't go after him too early. I wouldn't take Dalton Kincaid over a Garrett Wilson by any means, even if you are in tight end premium. But if you can get him later in like the 3rd or 4th round, do that, right? Okay, Dalton Kincaid is going to be a monster for you. So Evan Ingram. Okay, we're going back to the Jaguars, just like we talked about. They're not very stellar. He's been pretty consistent every year. He's produced for the Jaguars since he's been there. Trevor Lawrence has a great relationship with him. Trevor Lawrence likes him. And like we talked about, you cannot discount that relationship between a quarterback and their receiver. Okay, go after Evan Ingram. You can get him cheap. You can get him late. You're not going to have to spend a lot of draft capital on him. You can get other guys ahead of him. Okay, even if you're in tight end premium, he could be your second tight end. If you were to land somebody like a Dalton Kincaid early, right? And you're just gonna cash that check at the end of the season. Jake Ferguson is another guy that I like. I think Jake Ferguson has showed really well with the Cowboys. He basically filled in that Dalton Schultz role when he left, and they didn't skip a beat. Jake Ferguson is going to do great things in Dallas, because in Dallas, yeah, they got Zeke coming back. That dude's running sand, right? Okay, he's not a threat.
I'm not gonna lie. I had no freaking clue that Ezekiel Elliott went even back to the Cowboys. I was like, he's still in the league? Oh, shit, he's with the Cowboys.
What is that about if you're Jerry Jones? Like, you did all that drama, and then he left, and then now you bring him back. I mean, I get you can bring him back cheap, and he's a legacy Cowboy, right? I get all that stuff, but you're trying to win ball games. I'm not bringing Zeke back. You pass up on Jonathan Brooks for Ezekiel Elliott. Come on, man. Jerry Jones, you got to do better.
I mean, now they're doing it with CD, too. Like your number one offensive weapon, and he's causing trouble too.
I don't know if I want to pay him or not. It's not on board right now.
Yeah, the Cowboys have other concerns they need to look at. I mean, you've got CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's going to have some contract stuff coming up. CeeDee Lamb's going to have contract stuff coming up. That's why I'm not really investing in the Cowboys offense outside of Jake Ferguson, because CeeDee Lamb's going to get double covered, safety over top. CeeDee Lamb's going to get that respect, right? So I wouldn't look for CD to get as much as he did last year, because last year they had more weapons that they could use, that Dak Prescott could use. This year they don't have that option, right? So if CD is going to get all that attention, where are they going to go to? They're going to go Jake Ferguson. So get Jake Ferguson late, get him cheap, and you can tweet me and thank me later. as far as all my favorites in drafts this year, that's what I got. I like those players. Like I said, if barring any injury, these people should win you leagues.
For sure.
I don't know what kind of fantasy players do y'all like this year?
So I kind of want to just ask. I mean, if you're just doing like a regular format, just a very basic, and you know, obviously we're on a Colts podcast, so where would you draft Anthony Richardson, like, and feel comfortable, like, taking him in a draft?
Super flex. I mean, he's a first round. Just because super flex bumps the value of that quarterback. If I'm in one quarterback leagues, I think Anthony Richardson still goes early. I've got him as a top 5 guy, top 6. So most times quarterbacks, and nowadays, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, quarterbacks went first round no matter what. If it was one quarterback, standard league, the quarterbacks went first, right? They reign supreme because they score the most points, right? But now in the modern day fantasy football leagues, your quarterbacks are usually going to go, your top quarterbacks, I should say that, your top quarterbacks are going to go around the 3rd, 4th round. And that includes your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allens, all those big time guys, right? So look for them around the 3rd or 4th round.
Fair enough. I did some leagues, and they're still taking, you know, Patrick Mahomes mid-late first. I think one Josh Allen went like 3rd overall.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are probably going to score you the most points, but man, those position spots there.
Yeah.
That's a drop off. I mean, it's like taking a kicker in the 8th round just because you had the other 7 spots. But get depth, man. Kickers, I think from the worst kicker to the best kicker, it's like a 20-point difference in the season or some shit. Like,
the differential's not big. So you're 100% correct on that. That's why you want to go receiver early. Yeah. So here's a pro tip. Don't draft a kicker or a defense. Okay. Save those roster spots for potential guys that could do well for you. Before my first matchup, I go pick up a kicker and a defense. I make that decision before my first matchup because I don't want to lose out on the chance of, let's say, that RB2 that you didn't know anything about or didn't think would even be fantasy relevant. Well, who's to say, in practice, I'm not even going to say it. I'll go somewhere else. Let's say, right? Or Brian Robinson Jr. get hurt in practice. Austin Eckler's looking pretty darn good, right? Yeah. Not that I was going to cut Austin Eckler. I'm not saying that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to take those flyers, those lotto tickets, if you will, on those players. Because a kicker and a defense, most times they're not going to score that many points. It's not worth wasting that lottery ticket on those last couple rounds. Go ahead and get you a player that could be something, and go ahead and pick up that kicker and that defense right before your first matchup. I mean, that's what I do. Multi-time champion. It's worked out for me most times. So, I mean, take it or not, whatever. That's what I do.
There's been a couple times where, like, I guess I'll say mid-late when I'm talking like 12th round, and I'll see that there's still a really good defense. I'm like, okay. Like, if it's the Niners defense right now, I might hop on it. if Tucker's still there late, I mean, like, the guy's guaranteed money, so I might jump on it really late. But I'm not going kicker or defense in like 7th, 8th round. Like, that's just because you fill the rest of the roster
do that before
doesn't mean
10th round.
I see it all the time. All the time in these drafts. They're like, well, I've got my other roster spots. I just need a kicker and a defense. Bro, I'm still going to go running back, wide receiver, maybe even my backup quarterback. I don't know.
And I know a lot of people, they focus on, okay, I got my quarterback. Okay, I've got 2 running backs. Oh, I've got 3 receivers. Okay, now I need a tight end. If there's not a tight end that you like there, don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. Fill out your roster, right? That will happen. Get the best players that you need for your team. Don't worry about, I still got to fill out 2 running back spots. Don't worry about that. 0 RB is a real thing and is won leagues. Like I said, you can get a guy like Zamir White super late. Don't worry about that. If you got elite wide receivers, they're going to make up for that little bit of lack, that differential that we talked about in points on a running back. Don't stress about filling out your roster. It'll happen through the draft. Don't stress about it.
The other big thing that I would recommend is when you don't pay attention to the bye weeks. I don't care if you've got.
Yes.
I don't care if your entire roster is by week 13 or 11 or 12. It doesn't matter. Oh shit, you're gonna lose one game. If that's the best player and they're all the same bye week, doesn't matter. You're gonna lose a week.
Oh yeah. There's been plenty of years where I've not started a roster spot because there's no way I'm cutting that player to pick up some schmuck off waivers. No. I'll take the hit there. Okay.
For sure. Oh man, I think you
Drafted well and you've done your homework. That one little position that's a blank right there. Let's say if it's a tight end, I only ask 5 to 6 points out of my tight ends. That's all I ask. If I get more than that, man, I'm over the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't start Travis Kelce because they're on a bye week, yeah, that kind of sucks. But you might not lose your week, okay, if you've done all the other things right.
For sure. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, just and let the draft come to you,
Mhm.
right? I know we have our favorites and things like that. This is the most important thing I can tell, especially new players, right? New being within 4 years, 5 years, right? Don't stress. Let the draft come to you. Guys will fall to you because other people will reach for players that should have gone 2 rounds later, right? So you will have players fall to you that will be better than probably what you wanted. So relax. Let the draft come to you.
Right on, for sure. Great advice. Alex, you came in late. I don't know if you have any questions or anything that you wanted to bring up.
Just when you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, that reminded me of a crazy coincidence. Leonard Floyd, who was the one that tore his Achilles, now plays for the 49ers, who the Jets will play on Monday Night Football week 1. So
Spicy.
Leonard, it's almost the same situation, except it's an away game for the Jets instead of a home game, so they don't have to deal with the horrible MetLife field. When you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, I was just like, okay, now I got to get this thing out. I love that little stat.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers has talked to his offensive line and told him, hey, this is the guy, let's make sure he doesn't touch me?
He's got to be like, you guys got to look out for this guy. He's coming for my Achilles again. It's got to be,
because now he's got that little bit of fear whenever he hears Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
He's got that little bit of fear.
You can't have the hesitation, especially in football. You can't be afraid. You see it all the time with these guys, especially like bad injuries. I'm shocked Alex Smith, did what he did because I'd be terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny you bring that up is with Richardson, they so far as getting hit real game and all that stuff like that. He said it felt good to be able to get that contact because in practice they're not touching him at all, right?
Oh.
So he said it felt good. He had a little bit of nerves, but all signs are green. So that's good to hear from Richardson. Yeah. Now, of course, players say things, right? We'll see what happens when it's 100%. Because preseason, the starters, we know they're not 100%, like going full speed, right? We know it. But week 1, we'll see. But he said he feels good, and that's promising.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're almost to the hour mark, so that's a good place to end it today. We got a game Saturday. It'll probably be all the backups and everybody fighting on the roster bubble for a spot. So it'll be a fun game. It's Colts football, so I don't care if it's preseason. If you made it here, make sure you drop a like, comment, anything you want to discuss. We'd love to have it on a future episode. Interact with us. We love to do it, and I'm sure you're here for the same reason. So make sure you talk to us. Keep sharing, subscribing. We appreciate it. And as always,
I'll be here at this handle on all platforms. So if any of you have any questions, fantasy or anything, hit my inbox. I'll be putting a lot of draft strategy. I'll be putting out top 5s of my rankings and things like that to help you out with your drafts. So go check me out. Give me a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. But I will be putting that information there. If you like what you hear, check me out.
For sure. And as always, go over to Chaotically Intolerant. He's always putting out tons of great content, different stuff, not just Colts. He's all over the place. We really appreciate the support. We'll see you next week when we talk about the Arizona Cardinals game and preview the next week. It'll be the last game before the regular season. I'm just saying, I'm stoked.
Getting closer to that week 1. Bleed blue.
Man, we should close out with the song. I'll do it on the next one. We'll close out with it every episode.
Oh yeah. Colts Nation. See y'all later.
This is our Colts, baby. Let's go.
This is our Colts.
Later.
We'll see y'all next week.